All right, today we're going to climb up our own family tree. We're going to figure out what it actually means to be a haplorrhine. Now, that's the huge group of primates that includes, monkeys, apes, and of course us. We'll get into what defines this group and trace exactly where we fit in.
So, in the last explainer, we covered the basics of how we classify primates. This time, we're zeroing in on our side of the family, the haplorhines, which you might also hear called anthropoids. And yeah, this group includes every single monkey, every ape, and you guessed it, us.
Okay, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at that big fundamental split in the primate order. Then, we'll define what makes a haplorhine a haplorhine. After that, we'll meet the two major groups of monkeys. And to wrap it all up, we're going to trace our own lineage, step by step, right down the family tree. So, to get started, we've got to go way back. We need to understand the very first major division among all primates. This was a huge split that happened deep, deep in our evolutionary past, and it divided the entire order into two really distinct suborders, the Strepsirians and, you guessed it, the haplorhine.
This table right here, it really cuts to the heart of that big split. On one side, you've got the Strepsirines. Think lemurs. They hang on to more of those, let's call them ancestral traits. For instance, they have that wet nose, which is called a rhinarium, and it's linked to a super powerful sense of smell. Plus, they still have a claw on one of their digits. But then, on the other side, you've got the haplorhines, and that's us. We're what's called derived, which is just a fancy way of saying we evolved a totally different set of tools. We have a simple, dry nose, we don't rely on smell nearly as much, and we have nails on all of our digits instead of claws.
Okay, so now that we've seen that first big split, let's put the Strepsirines aside for a moment and focus completely on our side of the family tree, the haplorhines. Let's get down to what a haplorhine actually is. The formal definition is pretty straightforward. It's the group of primates that includes tarsiers, all the monkeys, and all the apes. And that includes us. The thing that unites all of us is a very specific set of derived traits. These are basically the newer features that evolved over time and really set our lineage apart from our more ancient primate cousins. This is really cool because it breaks down the whole evolutionary package that makes a haplorhine. First up, there was a huge reduction in how much we rely on smell. That's what led to our simple, dry nose and a smaller olfactory bulb in the brain. But it was a trade-off. That sensory shift was balanced out by depending way more on vision. Our brains developed a larger visual cortex, which gives us fantastic depth perception and color vision. And last but not least, look at our digits. We have nails instead of claws. That's a classic example of what scientists call an apomorphy, or a derived trait. All right, we've defined what a haplorhine is. Now let's look at how that group splits up. We're going to start our journey in the Americas with the New World monkeys. Scientifically, they're known as the platyrhines. The easiest way to spot a platyrhine is to look right at its face. Their scientific name actually means broad-nosed, and that tells you everything you need to know. Their defining feature is nostrils that are round and face forward. It's a really simple trait, but it's an incredibly consistent marker for this whole group. Okay, let's hop across the ocean to the other major branch of anthropoids. This is the one that stayed in the Old World, so we're talking Africa and Asia. This group is called the catarrhines, and spoiler alert, this is the lineage that ultimately includes us. And here you can see the difference side by side. It really is a tale of two noses. On one hand, you have the New World platyrhines, with those round, forward-facing nostrils we just talked about. But then you have the Old World catarrhines, and their nostrils are more ovoid or teardrop-shaped, and they point downwards. Honestly, this one simple feature is the absolute clearest way to tell these two massive groups apart. So just to recap the catarrhines, this group is a big one. It includes every single monkey from the Old World. We're talking baboons, macaques, you name it. And it also includes all the apes, all the way from gibbons to gorillas to us. They're all united by those distinctive downward-facing nostrils, and yep, this is our direct ancestral line. All right, now we get to the really fun part. We're going to zoom way in on the catarrhines. We're going to follow the branches down the classification system to pinpoint exactly where we fit in. So the very first major split inside the catarrhine group is the one that separates the Old World monkeys from the apes. As you can see, the monkeys all get grouped into the superfamily Cercopithecoida. Meanwhile, all the apes, and that includes us, belong to the superfamily Hominoida. Just for a second, let's look at the monkey side of that split. That superfamily, Cercopithecoidea, is divided into two main groups. You've got the Cercopithecines, like baboons, famous for their cheek pouches and a really generalized diet.
And then you have the coelobines, which are specialized leaf eaters with these incredibly complex digestive tracts.
Okay, back to our branch, the Hominoidea or the apes. This superfamily splits again, this time into two families. First, there's the family Hylobidae. These are the so-called lesser apes, the incredibly agile gibbons and siamangs you find in Asia. And then there's the second family, the one we belong to, family Hominidae. This is the family that groups together all of the great apes.
But we're not done yet. Even within that great ape family, Hominidae, we can peel back another layer and find another split. The first to branch off are the orangutans, the great apes of Asia. When they separate, that leaves the African great apes, gorillas, chimpanzees, and humans all grouped together in the subfamily Hominidae.
We are getting so close now. Inside that group of African apes, the subfamily Homininae, another split happens. The next to branch off are the gorillas. They get separated out at the next level of classification, which is called a tribe. In this case, the tribe Gorillinae. And that brings us, finally, to our specific taxonomic address. After the gorillas branch away, the group that's left is the tribe Hominin. And this is us. This is the tribe that contains modern humans and our closest living relatives, the chimpanzees and bonobos. So, next time you hear scientists use the term hominins, you'll know they're talking specifically about humans and all of our extinct bipedal relatives that belong to this very exclusive club. In the next explainer, we will learn more about great apes and their unique characteristics. It will help us to understand more about human evolution.